And at 11 a.m. Central Time, we have the Big 12 Championship in Arlington, Texas. The Oklahoma State Cowboys, Mike Gundy, taking on the Texas Longhorns and Steve Sarkisian. This is going to be an incredibly entertaining game. I'm really excited for this one. Lots of playoff implications here, especially if you've heard some of my other predictions. Then you will know what I'm talking about. All right, the spread. What does Vegas think? Vegas has Texas is 14 is where it opened. They're at 14.5 now. The over-unders started at 55. It's now at 55.5. So sounds like we're getting a higher scoring game is the projection. Money line, we've got Oklahoma State is where it opened plus 448, and now Oklahoma State's plus 485. Texas started out at minus 631. Now they're minus 715. Oklahoma State 7-5 against the spread. Texas 6-6. Common opponents. Let's get right into those. Kansas, Houston, BYU, Oklahoma, and Kansas State. And some notables here. Oklahoma would be a notable. That would be one if you were an Oklahoma State fan you're pointing to. Now, Oklahoma State had that at home. And Oklahoma, that's the Red River rivalry. So, again, neutral field. Neutral/road, right? Some people call it. So it just kind of depends. But that was the lone loss of the Longhorns, which kind of looks now a little bit like an anomaly. Texas has been playing really good football as of late. Ewers is back. I know they had some injury concerns. Just a lot of things, for that Texas squad, and I think they're getting back to full rip. And so that's going to be interesting heading in this game. Now, Mike Gundy, he's an incredible coach. The ship was sinking early in the season with the start that they had. He's righted that ship, and he's got these guys playing really good football. Now, so if you note that Oklahoma State is 5-0 against common opponents, and Texas is 4-1. So that's again, Oklahoma is the outlier there. Kansas State, both of those were good games. They played good games. And then the other one that of note that comes to mind is Kansas, where Texas absolutely throttled them, and Oklahoma State was in a all-out war there. All right, jumping into some of these stats right here. Both offenses are in the 30s. Texas 34.9 points a game, almost 35 points a game, and Oklahoma State around 30 at 30.2. First downs real close. Just as you go down the stat sheet, they look fairly evenly matched. They really do. I think, obviously, the big difference, and let me mention this, Oklahoma State has some advantage here. Obviously, the running game, Ollie Gordon. Obviously, the red zone success, but now that could be a product of Texas not having Quinn Ewers. And so I take some of those offensive stats and I just say, hey, I think that's fairly even. Okay, I think the big differences are going to come on defense. I think Texas's defense is stout, and they are going to get the nod in just about every meaningful metric. Now, Texas is going to need to play a clean game. They can get a little sloppy at times with the penalties. Oklahoma State's a dangerous team. Like I said, Ollie Gordon, probably your Doak Walker winner. He is 6.4 yards a carry and 3.78 yards after contact. That is a boy. I tell you what. They have, like I had mentioned before, they righted the ship early. I think if they can establish the run game, and if they can be physical against that Texas front, and they can open some running lanes, then they can hit on some play action. I think that might change some dynamics in the game. You're going to have to you're going to have to win the turnover battle, probably by +2 or 3. Maybe a special teams play. I think the Cowboys, like I said earlier, had a red zone advantage. They have really good red zone offense. And so controlling the line of scrimmage is going to be tough. I think Texas is for real. Okay, I think the Longhorns are for real. They got Ewers back. The defense is playing the way they played earlier in the season, that same defense that did what they did to Alabama. When your star quarterback goes down, if you heard heard me earlier, you'll know that I said that when your quarterback goes down, your defense is on the field more. And that just has this toll. It takes a toll. And that just tells you how this football game is connected, right? It's like it's very connected. When something happens on one side of the ball, it can definitely affect the other. And I think that's what happened to Texas in a couple of those close games that they had where Ewers was out. And I think Texas is going to have a real good day. I think they're the more physical team. I think the defense is going to step up. I think Texas wins 35-14. And I think if you mix that with what I said about Louisville, I've got Texas getting in. So winning this game, winning the Big 12 championship, getting into the playoff, and I think they're going to earn a trip against the Georgia Bulldogs. So I think Texas is going to get in as a 4 seed and play Georgia, who's going to be the 1 seed.